going in a race, going hurdle 1 through 5, I was moving fairly well. I started to see Rye pick up the pace. I'm gonna pick up the pace too. Like I'm gonna hit it with him. Approaching hurdle 8, I'm like, okay, this is my dominant leg. I should clear this hurdle easily. But this is like when you have to go. Like you're in third, and I felt Trevor Bassett coming, and I was like, okay, you got to hit it. I ended up clipping the hurdle with my toe. That part of the race, you don't really have a lot of energy left that last 100, and it took me out. I laid there for a minute, and I was like so disappointed in myself. I was like, this is your chance. This is the best opportunity you had, and the past 4 years, and you blew it. This would have been an easy race for me to make the Olympic team, and I just blew it.
Welcome back to another episode of Track World News Podcast. Your host Colin Waitsman with our esteemed co-host Mr. Noah Williams. Today we've got another excellent guest that's going to be joining us on today's episode. You've seen him on the track, whether it's at Maryland, Texas Tech, or now in the professional circuit, running down there in Florida, Team Adidas, Mr. Caleb Dean. Caleb, how you doing today, brother?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on the podcast. Really appreciate it. Excited to get going. Excited to answer y'all questions and everything. So happy to be here.
Of course, appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it. Should be a good one. Looking forward to this. But before we got into any track stuff, Noah, I see you're a Lakers guy. Obviously, you got your Lakers hat. Tough loss for you yesterday. That was brutal. What about you though, Caleb? What teams you repping with this? The playoffs getting started.
We be having conversations about this at practice every single day. So I'm a Bron fan, so I just follow Bron. But Noah, he's a Lakers fan, but he's a Bron hater. I don't know how that goes together. Like I just don't understand. But yeah, I was watching the game last night too. But it's okay. That doesn't faze me. Doesn't scare me. I know LeBron, Luka, they gonna get their get back. Lakers in 5.
It's setting up perfectly for Lakers. Like this is exactly, you have to lose one, right? So
yeah, that's it.
Now it's winning. Now it's winning out. Wait. So no, you a Bron hater? What's up with this?
They like to call me a Bron hater because I don't glaze LeBron like all LeBron fans do. I'm just like a very unbiased basketball fan. That I kind of just observe the game objectively and call things out that happen. And now I'm a hater. That's what they.
Call it like it is. Yeah, spoken like a true LeBron hater. Yeah, there you go. All right, sounds good. Sounds good.
Before we get too deep into the episode, bro, did you know that LeBron James scored 8 points on Jason Terry in the NBA Finals? Did you know that?
Really?
I knew that.
Wow.
I knew that.
Yeah, 8 points though. 8 in the NBA Finals. But yeah, this is a track podcast, though. We ain't got to go too deep into that.
Yeah, won't get in too much into the Bron lore, but cool. Yeah, thanks, Caleb, for joining with us today. I'm sure. Let's jump into, I guess, what's going on with the track world right now. So this is, I guess, is this technically your first pro season?
Yeah,
second?
Technically my first pro season because I did a pro meet in Monaco Diamond League last July, but I wasn't signed with anybody at the time. So this is my first official pro season, but it's been going good. Like I can't complain. I had one indoor meet in February. It was like a quick little indoor meet up in Gainesville. Ran the 60-meter dash 6.6, and then I'm really trying to get my toes wet in this Grand Slam that I'm in. Doing the 400 hurdle double. So I've just been working on that each and every week, just trying to strengthen my technique and just build up my endurance and speed.
How different is it for you right now, going from college, at Tech to now doing it on your own? I mean, I know you got a good team atmosphere down there, I'm sure, with a lot of guys. But how was that transition for you over the last little bit?
No, definitely, yeah. So the transition from college athletics to professional athletics is very, different. At first, I was able to. I would say I'm still adapting well, but there's like definitely some cons, and there's definitely some pros as well. Like in college, I was able to get like treatment whenever I wanted. I was able to use the nutrition site whenever I wanted. Like there's different things in college compared to professional, athletics right now. Like, if I wanted treatment, like I would have to, schedule an appointment myself. It would have to come out of my pocket compared to, when I was back in college. I would just literally go to the training room, get whatever I wanted whenever I wanted. If I hurt myself, I could just get an MRI that day. But it's like more complicated as a professional athlete when you're by yourself because you don't have that team atmosphere. But as far as like training and everything like that, I think my coach, Coach Rob and Coach G, definitely set me up really well because I think the workouts that I was doing at Tech is very similar to what I'm doing now. So as far as like workouts and everything like that, I'm good. Like the workouts, they're definitely still hard, definitely challenging, but it definitely hasn't, it hasn't, it's not a surprise to me. It hasn't shocked me. Like the length of the workouts is definitely surprising a little bit because we be at the track all day. But other than that, like as far as working out and, what we do on a day to day basis is kind of similar to what I was doing at Texas Tech.
So do y'all do a lot of the workouts together? Like for both of y'all, or is there more of a 400-meter hurdles group that it's just y'all and it's kind of separate?
Yeah, so for me,
Go
I
ahead.
be kind of like I be going everywhere, honestly. Like I'll be in the sprint group one day, so with like the 100, 200 runners, and then another day I'll be in the 400 endurance group. So right now it's me, Shekna, Jareem, and then when Noah gets back on his feet, it'll be him. So I had that group as well, and then I also work with Coach Philippe, which is Alison Dos Santos' coach. So I work with Alison Dos Santos and FA, another 400 hurdle from the UK. So I have like all these different groups that I kind of like alternate and switch to throughout the week.
What's it? I mean, that's got to be a great person to. I know he's kind of with. You said you're working with Alison Dos Santos in some makes. Is it more just as coach, or are you working alongside him during your workouts too?
No, yeah, I'm working alongside him as well. Like every workout I have is, with him. So we'll be running reps together and everything like that. And, when I first started working with them, they were very nice. They took me under the wing, treated me like I was one of their own. So, I'm very appreciative of them for that.
Is that like would you say it's more helpful or kind of not as effective when he's one of the medalists. I'm sure you guys are competitors. You're going after it on the track. I mean, y'all did not too long ago at a with some slams and everything. So it's like, is that more helpful of having one of the Olympic medalists and world champions that's right there, one of the best to ever do it, or can it be a little bit more of a challenge?
Nah, I would say it's definitely helpful. Like, who wouldn't want someone that's like, exceeded, uh, where they're at. You know what I'm saying? Like, exceeded their, I wouldn't say expectations, but like, who wouldn't want to train with someone who's like better than you? Like, I like to surround myself with dogs and stuff like that, and that's one of the reasons why I transferred to Texas Tech is because I was going to be around people who were better than me, and then once I got in that environment, once I figured out, how to train with them, how to compete, with them and stuff like that, I became, one of those top dogs. So, I think that's the same thing that's going to happen here as time goes on. Training with Allison is going to be, great for me, and then also great for him as well. It's a dogfight at practice each and every day. So, we're just helping each other out in the long run. So I look at it as like a great opportunity to, to see.
For sure. No, yeah. No, I think it similar for me of like when I was at college, like the three like top people in our conference were all in like on our team. Like we were the three best vaulters in the NEC at the time, and it was just like it was super helpful. Of all right, I know the medal stand is going to be 1, 2, 3. It's going to be us. It's just what's that order going to be, and so it made them practices like just so much more competitive or so much easier like when the competition comes around because it's like I know it's not like, oh, I'm competing with or just training with anyone. It's like, no, you got the best of the best. Like that's
Yes,
what's
yeah.
helpful. Yeah.
And
Did
like
that
I
play?
don't. like losing in practice. I don't like getting beat. So if he beats me in practice, it just like gives me more motivation. It's like, oh, I'm gonna get this next rep and stuff like that. So it's just like a battle within itself at practice, and then even in like the meets and stuff like that. So
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know this about Caleb, but dude is like super, super explosive, super dynamic. And to speak on the competitiveness, I get to witness him train with Allison. Maybe not every day. When he does train with him, sometimes I get to witness it. And the competitive nature between those two is like really something to watch. Caleb kind of has this look in his eye that I can tell. He gets a little bug eyed. And that's when he's really turned on. That's when he's really going, like, ready to go. Pause. You know what I mean? Like, that's when he's really ready to attack a workout. I think our whole group is very competitive, but Caleb has the talent that he can do shit with the short sprinters, do stuff with the long sprinters, and then also do stuff with Allison. So like the fact that he does it and does it well, doesn't really bitch about it, doesn't complain about it. It says a lot about his character and his talent level overall. Like, you know what I mean? It's very something special to see every day for sure.
I appreciate that, Brody.
Yeah, for sure.
And so, what was the I guess to talk about? I mean, you raced against Allison not too long ago. Y'all had the Grand Slam. This has really been a new or a very exciting, I guess, thing within the track world. We talk about it all the time. I feel every track media group is covering it. You had a bit of an interesting way of, I guess, getting in, putting your name in there. Could you share about how you got involved in Grand Slam and all that?
No, for sure. Like, I mean, I shot my shot. I think I deserve to be offered a spot. Like one of the first ones to be offered a spot based off my time last year. Like, of course, I didn't, make it to the Olympics and stuff like that. And I would have made. I feel like I would have made it if I didn't fall. But things happen. But nonetheless, I ran 47:23 at the NCAA championships while not running at all April and only a little bit of May. So like being able to drop that time with little to no training because I injured myself literally right before Texas Relay. So I tore my groin. I had like a grade 2 tear in my groin. So from not being able to practice throughout April, practice only a little bit throughout May, and having to go to opening my season up at Big 12s, going to regionals and then nationals, and then dropping 47:23 is like it kind of speaks for itself because I didn't have a full season of training or outdoor season of training. I also the year before in fall training, that's when I was coming off a broken foot, so I didn't have a full fall season. So like just me being able to do that with like little to no training says a lot, and I feel like I should have been offered one of the first ones offered a spot based off my time. And then, I mean, I guess you could see kind of the lack of training, the lack of technique at the trials because, I ended up getting sloppy those last few hurdles. And, that's how I felt. But I feel like all in all, I'm one of the best hurdlers, in the world. And I think Grand Slam finally noticed that when I shot my shot. And yeah, and now I'm in the league, getting a battle out every single month with the best of the best. So I'm happy. I'm in Grand Slam. It's definitely an honor, and I'm trying to make history for real.
There you go. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I know you came in third place overall for the slam. I think you came in third for both races.
Yeah, third for
there you go. Yeah, so being able to go up against those groups, definitely pretty impressive. I mean, what was the like paint the picture from an athlete perspective? I know we've seen it and we've talked about it from a viewer and a fan and all of that, but as you being down there on location, how was that experience compared to, I guess you went to Monaco, I guess, so you were able to see kind of Diamond League versus Europe versus so yeah.
No, Grand Slam was a great experience, and I'm not even trying to and I'm not saying that just because I'm an athlete signed a Grand Slam. Like, it was truly a great experience. Like the hospitality, the way they treated us, like they treated like me like I was an actual professional athlete, like I'm a king, like I'm supposed to be there. And overall, the atmosphere, the experience, the fans, the resources and stuff like that. They really did their big one for sure. There was a lot of medical people there. If I needed anything, if anything went wrong, I could literally send somebody a text and then it would be fixed just like that. So from an athlete experience, it was great. I was able to bring my girlfriend and stuff like that. They paid for my girlfriend's flight, hotel, all that. So this is like a real professional league, and I hope it lasts many years.
Yeah, no, that's impressive. Like you don't see a whole lot of
You don't see that at all, like in track ever. So for a league, Michael Johnson to be doing this for him to create this is so blessing, honestly. Especially like with the prize money and just all that.
So like what's the what top three good, but obviously you're going for
Now,
gold. So what's the like what are you when you look back at the tape or your training or over the past couple weeks, what have you been trying to dial in on so when we get to Miami in a little bit of time, you're ready to take home that gold?
I've just been trying to be better in everything that I do. Honestly, I saw my film in Kingston. I just wasn't good enough. My technique wasn't solid. I think my technique was better that in that 400 hurdle race, I would have came at least second. I chopped the ninth hurdle like crazy, and then I lost a lot of momentum going into the 10th hurdle. So that took me from second to fourth, and I had to work my way back up to third. I clipped CJ Allen at the line. So definitely like from a technique standpoint, I've been trying to get better technically each and every day, and also like for the 400, it was my first open 400 in like a long time. So for that, I kind of just looked at it as like a learning opportunity. I got third with that. I kind of died like the last 50 meters, especially because the wind was going crazy, and I definitely felt that lactic the last 25 meters. So just moving forward from that, I kind of know what to do now moving forward, and I have my eyes on that 100K for Miami for sure. So I'm gonna get the job done. I'm hoping to get the job done, and you know it's gonna be a great race. I know Chris Robinson just dropped 44-1, so it's gonna be a great race. Let me just say that.
Yeah. So like would you say that you're keeping your eyes on like a lot of those times? I mean, obviously you mentioned, hey, Chris Robinson, what he dropped this past weekend in the four. Like, you watching those the times too much of like the competitors and the people you're going up against, or is it kind of more I want to stay locked in on what I'm doing and not pay attention too much to the outside noise or what other people have?
I try to stay locked in as much as possible, but it's like inevitable, kind of like with social media. I'm just scrolling down my timeline. I see somebody drop 44-1 or like 47 flat in the hurdles. It's like I like track, so I follow like a lot of the track pages and stuff like that, and they post these times and stuff. So it's like I'm always going to see these times, and it just gives me motivation. It's like if I see someone drop something fast, I'm gonna want to run faster. So that's really all it is. It's not like anything of it won't really get me out my my mindset and my mentality of trying to be the best version of myself. It just gives me more motivation, and you know I want to be the best, like I said many times, and I want to be the greatest. So it's just another thing I could digest and look at as motivation.
Yeah, with the like so with the 400 hurdles right now, like this, it's crazy that we live in a time where the three greatest 400-meter hurdlers of all time are all competing in their prime at the same time. And you're in this group too of, hey, competing to, like you said, like be the best that the sport has ever been. Like, what do you think it's gonna take over the course of this next year, and as you get into LA 28 and the world championships that are coming through here, of what would you say is some of the strongest parts of your game of like, I know that I got this on lock? I know, Noah was talking about some of that explosiveness you got, and what about some areas where you're like, hey, this is something that I'm really trying to lock in on?
Yeah, and what's funny about that, I think I was just having a conversation about that the other day, how I'm in a generation with three of the best hurlers of all time. And, I'm kind of salty why I was, born in this generation with going up against the three greatest hurlers of all time. And I was having this conversation with Noah Lyles the other day, and I was like, yo, why do I sound like I'm complaining? Like I was complaining that I was born in this generation. And it was like, bro, you just got to get better. And, I think that's what it takes. Me getting better. Like the times are not going to get slower. Nobody's going to slow down. I just have to focus on myself and get better. And you mentioned, asked about my strengths and stuff like that. I think my strengths is, my speed. I feel like, when I'm going up against the 400 hurdles or most of the 400 hurdles, I have the fastest foot speed in the field. So using that as my advantage and just like being able to, get out on them and then kind of holding that speed that I have will be the key for me to be very successful in this event. And also, I'm kind of new to this event. Like I've been doing it for, I would say, 4 years now. I've started my freshman year of college doing the 400 hurdles. So I'm still fairly new to this event. I've had about 6 different coaches throughout college. So being able to have one coach and one plan that I could work on throughout my training schedule and training regimen will definitely be helpful. Not having to bounce around to different schools and different coaches. Being in one environment will be very helpful for me and beneficial. So I think I'm on the right track with what I'm doing. I think start to peak at the right time every single year and stuff like that. So just keep doing what I'm doing, believing in myself, working hard, and I think everything will work out.
Nice. So you brought it up, kind of different topic, I guess, of just times continuously getting better right now. We've seen that like all across, like with the track right now. People throwing at trackflation right now at an all-time high. Like, did y'all see both of y'all? Did y'all see the high schooler that ran 9.82? I know there was six meter per second wind and everything, but did y'all saw him do that?
Yeah, we were in the chat talking about it.
Yeah, we were. Yeah.
So that's just bullshit though. Like I don't know. I think we getting a little too like antsy with the wind at times. Like, okay, cool, he ran fast. Like I don't want to hype him no more though. Like I don't want to.
Low key, he was moving though. Like he was flying. Like it didn't even look like he was running slow or anything. And I think they hyped it because he's ran 9.9 previously. So it's like, oh, if he's running 9.82, like he could probably drop something crazy with legal wind.
Yeah, he'll probably run like a 9.95. So.
Yeah, something like that.
Still wild though. It's still wild.
Yeah, I think he ran a 9.95 with Texas be having crazy wind out there. He ran a 9.95 with like right next in the finals. It was like 2.3 wind or something like that. So it was like just almost like legal and everything. So these times be getting like crazy, I think, across the board, which I guess is good of everyone has to be better now. Cause like now, times that I'm sure what both of y'all won national championships with are eventually going to be times like in a couple of years where it's like, are you even making the final with those? Like people be getting crazy fast nowadays. These high schoolers run
for sure. It's crazy.
Yeah, but I'm all for the inflation because at the end of the day, like I don't know if you can say the same, Caleb, but when I see people running super fast, like it's just all right. It's time for me to run super fast, especially when I know the people. Like when I know the people that's running fast like that, I'm like, nah, hell nah.
Yeah, it's like unless you beat me, like that's dead. That's dead. So yeah, I mean, I look at that as like another opportunity, motivation. So I'm always trying to be the person that's ahead of me, I guess.
How's it feel for y'all, like when you see not just people that run fast, what if they're like in your event group, people that you're training with? Is that more of a, I'm happy for you type of thing? Like, do you feel more, hey, these are my teammates? Or is it like, I'm trying. Obviously, you're always trying to win, but I don't, does that make any
No,
sense to
yeah,
you?
I'd be happy for them. Like that's my dog, so I'm gonna be happy for you. But like, if we step on the track on the line, like you're not my dog no more. Like I'm gonna beat you. So I mean, in practice we'll talk about it. Like congratulations, whoop de whoop. But like if we're ever lined up on the track, like it's cooked for you.
Yeah. It, I don't know. It take a certain type of person to kind of hate on your training partner, because it's like you see how much they sacrifice, you see how hard they grind in. So when somebody does well, it's kind of like natural to kind of feel good for them. And then I could kind of say like I've competed against Dream a few times. I think I'm like 1-3 against Dream. You know what I mean? And it's like damn, like let dude beat me again. But on the back end, it's like I know how hard he works for this. So like, who am I to get salty about that?
Yeah.
Does it ever feel like for y'all like, oh well, my turn? Like if they like you see Dream PR or whomever it is that might be in your training group, they set a PR. It's like, well, I'm right there with dude during training. So if you setting these times and I'm like right here, I got to be coming up soon, right? Like I got to be around the bend with some to drop.
Yeah, it definitely provides a little bit of promise. Like, okay, he ran such and such. I whooped his ass on Tuesday, so I should be right around here. Like that. That's how I think.
Yeah, I agree with you, no, for sure. That's how I'm kind of wired as well. Like, if I'm with you in training and stuff like that, and you drop a fast time, like I'm excited for you, and I'm also excited for myself because it's like, oh, we train together, we cross the line together during practice, so I know what I'm capable of.
Mm-hmm. No, that makes sense. That makes sense. And so, what for y'all? I mean, for you, Caleb, like what went into selecting, I guess, of where it is that you wanted to train? I know definitely sometimes people will look at, let me stay at my at college or I guess my old university and whatever it may be. Like, what went into your selection of, hey, this is where I want to go and practice with the rest of my career.
Yeah, I didn't really have an option. Like Adidas kind of sent me over here to train with Coach Brahman. Everything's working out pretty good, so I don't have any complaints as far as that. But yeah, they definitely told me I have to come to Claremont, Florida to train because I was thinking about going to LA to train with Coach Hayes and Rye Benjamin. So I wanted to train in that group over there. But Adidas was like, "Oh, now you gotta come over here." So
Don't worry. Yeah. Were you saying something now? Oh, okay. Was the like I guess the process of selecting like when you're turning pro for you, like how did that go of I'm sure you have a bunch of different brands or organizations that might be looking for or what made that selection process for you of like, no, yeah, Adidas is where I want to get started with my pro career.
So surprisingly, I didn't really have a lot of brands reach out to me. It was only like Adidas and Nike, and Nike wanted me to relocate to Arkansas with Coach Boogie. That's his name, right? If I'm not mistaken, yeah, Coach Boogie and stuff like that. And it was just like I wasn't sure if I wanted to do that, and also Adidas offered me more money, so it was like, oh, kind of Adidas is a no-brainer, so let me go with Adidas and stuff like that. And I heard they're more lenient and stuff like that with cuts, so I was like, yeah, if I ever happen to get hurt, I wouldn't want to get cut and stuff. So let me go with like the smarter option, and then that was Adidas.
Good stuff. Good stuff. You brought it up earlier, so I guess kind of going back, but you mentioned, I mean, from this Olympics, you said, you know, you had that fall on, what was it, like hurdle 6, 7,
Hurdle 8.
hurdle
Yeah.
8. Coming off of the curve there, and you were in a good position at the time. I mean, could you kind of break that down for those that may not know that story of how, like, what happened leading into it, kind of what your reaction was after, and I guess how you might be using that moving forward with whether it be motivation or whatever it may be.
Yeah, I mean, going into the race, of course, I was nervous. This was a race to determine if I was going to make the Olympics or not. So I was definitely nervous. And I had a lot of things on my mind, like as well, which is not an excuse, but like I was also going through the contract situation with Adidas and Nike, trying to pick a brand and stuff. And in my mind, I was supposed to be signed way before the trials, and also on the finals day, like I was talking about, wearing a different uniform, but I ended up wearing my Texas Tech uniform. So like I was thinking about that as well, before my race and leading up to my race. So um, I say I tend to say that it didn't affect me, but it might have a little bit, going into the race. But going into the race, I started a race. I got out pretty good. I always have that, quick start. Going hurdle 1 through 5, I was moving fairly well, and then I started to see Rye pick up the pace. So I was like, okay, bet I'm gonna pick up the pace too. Like I'm gonna hit it with him. And then I get to hurdle 7, I switch and go to my alternate leg, and then approaching hurdle 8, I'm like, okay, this is my dominant leg. I should clear this hurdle easily. But this is like when you have to go. Like this is the last 100, and you're in like third. You're in third, and I felt Trevor Bassett coming on me, pause. But yeah, he was right next to me. I could feel him, and I was like, okay, you got to hit it. And then I ended up clipping the hurdle with my toe, and I think that part of the race, you don't really have a lot of energy left that last 100, and it took me out. Like I couldn't recover. I tried to, but I just couldn't recover. And then I laid there for a minute, and I was like so disappointed in myself. I was like, "This is your chance. This is the best opportunity you had, and the past 4 years, and you blew it." And then when I looked up and seen the times, I seen, of course, Rye. He went like 46.6 or something like that. But then the second and third place times was like 47.7 and 47.8, and I was like, "Bro, I literally just ran 47.2 2 weeks ago." So this would have been an easy race for me to make the Olympic team, and I just blew it. So I was thinking about finishing the race, but I just couldn't. Like, so I went to the side, and I knew they were going to show the camera and put the camera in my face, like they did a thing move. So I was like, nah, bruh, I'm not gonna let that slide. Like, I took off my shirt and put my shirt over my head and stuff like that, and I was like, I was telling myself like, I'm not gonna cry, I'm not gonna cry. But then like the people in the audience, they were like, oh yeah, keep your head up, stuff like that. You'll be good. And then like the tears just started going down my face. I'm like, God damn, bro, this hurts. This hurts. But as far as like, motivation, yeah, that's like my motivation each and every day. Being this close to make the Olympic team and having, my dreams shattered right in front of me. It's like motivation. Like when I don't want to do another rep, when I don't want to, do another set of, weights and stuff like that. It's like I kind of um, think of that moment of how I was so close, and that feeling of me not making the Olympic team, and just seeing my parents after the race and seeing my coach after the race, and just like how I felt. Like I kind of think of you know those thoughts, and it kind of gets me through that extra rep or the workout that I have for that day.
Yeah, that's I can imagine it's got to be like just heart wrenching of like, hey, you went from, like you said, just a couple weeks earlier, 2 weeks earlier of, but national champion, right? Like, yeah, just like not like at the top of the game, like feeling really good about yourself, and then having that, like, I'm sure not the best of things. How was that? I guess the time after, like, I know we talked to Dream, and he kind of described, some of those difficulties of, coming so close with his fourth place, finish. I know it's slightly different, obviously, but like over that next couple days or next week, like how did that kind of, how did those emotions kind of build over after, the trials were over?
There was like a lot of emotions. I didn't really know what to think because I was still, um, I was still sad, but at the time I still didn't have a contract, so it was like very, I was very uncertain of, the future, and I guess that like kind of affected me even more. It was like I didn't make the Olympic team, and I also don't know if I'm gonna have a contract. I don't know if track will be in my future, because I was thinking to myself like, yo, I don't think I'm gonna continue track if I didn't have a contract supporting me and stuff like that. Like I'll just get a regular job. So just like that, on top of me falling and not making the Olympic team, it was just a lot of emotions going back and forth, and just a lot of things I had to deal with. A lot of voices in my ear. As far as my agent, my parents, just my coaches telling me what to do, and I was very overwhelmed, with everything. But then I guess I think it was like 2 weeks after that, everything started to calm down. I started to, um, uh, kind of take Adidas. Adidas started to take me more seriously and stuff like that, because like they were mentioning how they were going to send me the contract and everything like that, and they were just going to wait for me to sign and look over the contract. So once that was kind of taken care of on Adidas' end, that's when like okay, I didn't make the Olympic team. It's not the end of the world. I have world championships next year. I'm about to sign a contract with Adidas. It was like I was also looking at like kind of like the positives of me not making an Olympic team when Adidas was, supporting me at that time. So it was a lot of emotions, overwhelmed, but at the end of the day, it worked out. So I'm grateful.
Yeah, that's a very real thing you just touched on about the NCAA championships is over. I don't have a deal. Olympic trials is over. I don't have a deal. Now it's like, do I have to figure something out? Do I have to figure something else out? I think that's something that a lot of athletes that are elite. You're a Bowerman finalist, bro. You was one of the greatest college athletes ever in the event, right?
Yeah.
So for you to have those emotions, like I think that's a lot of reality. That should be a reality check to a viewer, a younger viewer, to somebody that thinks it's gonna be sweet, because it's a lot to deal with. I could say the same thing in my shoes, right? So I won indoor championships, SECs, all of that. And I medaled outdoors. So I'm waiting, maybe you should go back another year. Maybe you can't, ain't no money there for you, and then obviously things sorted out the way it sorted out, which is great. But everybody can't say the same thing. It's a very cutthroat situation to be in, for sure.
It is cutthroat for sure.
Yeah, that's like the difference with, I guess, some of the like with other sports where basketball, football, whatever it is, of like it's, well, yeah, you're judged. I'm sure a lot of basketball players, they're going to look at how you do during March Madness or whatever it may be. Like ours, like whatever that it seems like, based on the timing that you're mentioning, that these brands are going to wait until right after like you're at that US trials, and like how are things going to determine this. So it's like, yeah, you just win a national championship. Like if you flip it where it's like, hey, you clip the hurdle at the NCAA championship, but then win the USA championship just 2 weeks later, I'm sure like they're different types of conversations. So it's just weird how it's all on one, 47-second race, that you're racing, that, a lot of your, livelihood can come up to. I'm sure it can be like extremely stressful for.
It is very stressful because, I mean, hey, if I didn't run that 40 seconds second race, I mean, I probably wouldn't be sitting having a conversation with John right now. So like my life would be probably totally different. So it's one race could change your life, and I'm grateful that race was able to change mine. So yeah.
So you mentioned that you might have gone like, oh, I might have to get like a regular type of job. Like,
Yeah.
have you ever thought, like, what would have you, like, let's say you're not Caleb Dean, elite track athlete right now, and you're, going through, you just graduated college. Have you put any thoughts into what you would probably be doing now if you weren't?
I do all the time. I do it all the time. Like even when I was when I got hurt last spring, and I didn't think I was going to run. I thought I was going to either redshirt that year and come back another year, or I was going to run. My times were going to be garbage, and I was just going to find a job. So I was looking for jobs for the following year, and I have my master's in financial planning, so I would have done something on the financial planning side. I'm trying to be a financial planner in the future, especially like when I'm done with track. Probably cater towards athletes, because a lot of athletes lack that financial literacy. So being able to help athletes, is something that I would like to do, because I was definitely once in their shoes, and I know how sometimes when you see a lot of money, you don't really know what to do with it. So being able to help these young athletes and stuff like that is something you know I find interest in, and I feel like it's my passion other than track and stuff. So yeah, I would have definitely done something in the financial industry field if I didn't get signed, because I was definitely thinking about that literally last year when I got hurt. I was like, let me start going on LinkedIn, applying for jobs and stuff like that. So yeah.
Dang. Could be a completely different world, yeah, of that we're living in. Dang, you would have had Caleb Bean, JP Morgan Chase, financial associate
Yeah.
come through. Fastest financial advisor in the country for sure. So you talked about you big into the finance spectrum. Have you had any, like, when you signed your first contract, did you have any big purchases or things that you wanted to go out and buy, or did you really start saving and not really get too crazy or anything with it?
Really, I started saving and investing. If my contract was like an NBA contract, yeah, I would have had a few big purchases, but that's the world. That's the reality of the world that we're living in. Track is not as lucrative as the NFL or the NBA, so our contracts aren't as much. But yeah, for the most part, I saved it, invested, used the money for fixed expenses and everything like that. So that's about it. I mean, of course, I bought myself something a little nice, a little special, but it wasn't nothing crazy like a car or anything. But after Grand Slam, I'm gonna definitely give myself probably like a car, whatever.
Do they are they going? Do they pay? So is it like after each slam, or will it be y'all get paid at the end of Grand
I
Slam?
think
Or
I think it's supposed to be after each slam, but I haven't received my money yet. So, but I think that's what they said after each slam, like after you go through drug testing and stuff like that, like you're supposed to get paid. But
okay, so,
we'll see.
probably the next couple days,
I'm hoping. I mean, yeah, we'll see.
there you go. There you go. Y'all, Noah, y'all brought it. You brought it up a second ago, but the Bowerman, you're on the Bowerman finals, one of the watch lists, for the whole, by the end of the season there for your special year that you had. What could you break down that, I guess, kind of experience of your final season there at Tech, and what it was like at the actual ceremony, or how that went?
Yeah, my last season at Tech, definitely a lot of up and downs, a lot of uncertainty. Wasn't sure what was going to happen. Like I was just really living in the moment, and going day by day, because like I said earlier, I didn't have a full fall training, and then like when I was able to start training, I switched my from 8 steps to 7 steps in the hurdles, and for a lot of people, that takes like months to be able to learn and master. So in December, I switched from 8 steps to 7 steps, and I was getting really, really frustrated because I wasn't able to get it, and I was getting cooked out the blocks, and it was just very frustrating. And I just trusted my coach. I listened to my coach, and I ended up, winning the national championship in indoor after transitioning from 8 steps to 7 steps, and then me getting hurt again in the spring, tearing my groin. Didn't know what was going to happen. Was various. It was The future was looking uncertain for me. Like I said, I was applying to jobs and stuff. So my last season at Tech was very shaky, but I ended up making a count at the NCAA championships for both indoor and outdoor. But as far as the Bowerman experience, I didn't really know what the Bowerman was. Like I knew what it was, but I didn't know, like, you know I didn't know like there were like multiple finalists and stuff like that. I thought someone would just like win the award at the end of the year. I didn't know they did like a ceremony or anything like that. So when I got the invitation, I think I was at the Olympic trials and my coach had me on a Zoom and he was like, "Hey Caleb, like guess what?" I was like, "What's up, man? Like you couldn't just call me. Like why'd you set up a Zoom?" And then like he surprised me with my family members and stuff like that. They were on the Zoom call and I'm like, "Yo, what is going on?" And then they're like, "Oh, you're a Bowerman finalist." And I'm like, okay, like what that mean? I ain't win the trophy. Like, what does the Bowerman finals mean? Like, why are you doing a whole presentation? For this, like, why y'all surprised me? But then, like, I ended up finding out what it really meant, and how they have this whole ceremony and stuff like that. But the ceremony was in Orlando, so it was like close to home, 30-minute drive. So it was nice though. It was nice. It was at like this big hotel. My parents were invited. Some of the former winners were invited, and it was a really nice event. And if I could go there again, I definitely would.
Nice. Yeah, not too far away. I guess make it easy and everything. Not
It
even
was
realize.
dope experience.
Nice, bro. Nice, bro. So like, what do you got going on? Like that you're going to be focusing in on for training this like the rest of this year. And where will there be other meets that we'll see you competing in outside of the traditional Grand Slam that we have, or how is that going to look like for the rest of your schedule here?
As of right now, I don't know my full schedule. I'm aiming to try to do 2 Diamond Leagues. Maybe the one in June in Oslo, the 300 hurdles. I'm excited to possibly be able to do that. So maybe the 300 hurdles. I know I'm running the 200 hurdles in Atlanta for the Atlanta City Games street meet. So that'll be pretty cool experience. But as far as what I'm gonna be running in like late June, late July, I'm not 100% sure. As far as training and everything, just keep doing what I'm doing. I've already built base and just base, and I just need to work on the specifics as far as like technique and just like building my rhythm and everything like that for the 400 hurdles. But I think training has been going really well. I've been looking really strong. So, just keeping up what I've been doing in training, keep working hard, and yeah, that's about it. Keeping my face strong and just eating right, taking care of my body, and staying healthy because that's a key. I can't do anything if I'm injured. So
He's ready, Colin. I see bro every day practice, bro. He's ready for sure.
Yeah. So you are 400 hurdler. We talked about it, I guess, because they announced the World Athletics announced not too long ago with the 300 hurdles.
yeah.
What are your thoughts on that? And like, is this like, are they doing this at the Olympics? Like, I guess it's in your event. I don't know if you had any other insight on how that went, but what were your
So
thoughts?
yeah, I was unsure if they were going to do it at the Olympics or not, but it's just like another event that you could earn points for, which is to me is like it's kind of stupid because like if you're going to introduce it as a real event, why not put it in the World Championships and why not put it in the Olympics? Like there's really no point in introducing it in a real event, but I guess they want to make it easier for athletes so you don't have to do the 400 hurdles, every week or every Diamond League and stuff like that. But it's cool. I guess another event for me, 300 hurdles. I used to do that in high school a lot. My PR was like 37 too, so it was okay for like a high schooler. But I'm excited. Like if I ever get the chance to do it, opportunity to do it, I feel like it would be fun.
Yeah, I was wondering. It was so weird that they just added it. Like I would, like you said, yeah, I would think if you're gonna add that, like put it into a championship event. Like, I mean, they put the mixed 4x1 in the Olympics or
Yeah,
whatever. So
I did see that.
yeah, what are your thoughts on that? On having the mixed 4x1 in the Olympics, and then if you could add, if you're the president of the IOC and you're adding one track event to the Olympics, and World Championships, I guess you could put both of them. What event would you want to have?
I would add the 200 hurdles. I've been literally advocating and preaching for the World Athletics Committee to add the 200 hurdles for a minute now, because I think I would be like literally untouchable in the 200 hurdles. But yeah, the 200 hurdles. I think the 300 dash would also be a cool event for people to watch and also people to run. So I think my top two probably be 300, the open 300, and then 200 hurdles. I know a lot of people have been vouching for a shuttle hurdle relay for the 110s. That would be pretty cool. I did that in high school as well. It's a fun event. But my top two is 300, open 300, and then 200 hurdles.
All right. So you versus Grant in the 200 hurdles.
I'm beating anybody and everybody. Literally, anyone who wants to challenge me like to a 200 hurdle race, I'm beating anyone.
You say you're running it in Atlanta? When is that?
Yeah, I'm running in Atlanta. That's like May 17th. I'm running against Allison, actually. Yeah, me and him are going head to head. So,
and that's a straight track, right?
Yeah, it's a straight track, which will make it a little bit harder, but like it'll still be fun for sure.
Yeah, it's gonna be different.
Yeah, I think the world best is like 22:05 or something like that. I don't know.
That's really good though. That's very impressive, actually.
That's fine.
People be running those just like in open 200s, like that's pretty good.
No, literally.
Yeah. Dang it. You ever run the? Did you run at Atlanta games before?
Nah, I've been there, but I never ran there though.
Okay, that's I guess most like y'all's event. That's like y'all's event, right? Like I'm pretty sure like almost everybody I've seen like from the Brahman group is getting there. It's Adidas, I guess, right?
Yeah, it's Adidas. We all got to be there.
All right, that thought that was so cool. So you got so y'all I asked Noah this a little while ago with Jalen Slade, so I guess it only makes sense for you too. But what would you say in your all events group, the most competitive people in y'all group right now? Who would you say are the top three most competitive people for in your training group?
I'll say Dream. I'll say Dodie. And then I'll say Noah Lyles. Well, actually, I forgot to include myself. My fault. I say Jareem. I say myself. And then depending on the day, it could be Udodi and then it could be Noah Lyles, depending on the day. So
dang, Noah, you dropped out.
I haven't seen Noah run yet. So
yeah, he's new to the group. He new to the group. I didn't get a chance to train with him yet.
Yeah. I was thinking like it didn't just have to be on the track.
On the track?
Just like in general.
No, you are pretty competitive though. I can't lie. Especially when we were doing like the little jumping challenge and then like the testing. So I'll probably say it's hard because we're all like competitors. Like everybody wants to win in the group. So that's kind of a hard one. But I'll say like me for sure. I'm putting myself up there. Then I'll say Noah and Noah. So I'll say Noah Williams and then Noah Lyles.
That's straight. Yo, so Colin, we had this competition. It wasn't really a competition. It was just baseline testing. But we had to test like our vert. We had to test like how much we can pull, like how much force we put in the ground. It was a bunch of tests.
Like a combine type deal?
Huh? Yeah, like a combine, for real.
All right.
And like, I bet Noah some money. I bet Jalen money. Caleb was scary, so he didn't want to bet with me.
I didn't know people would bet him.
But anyways, like Caleb, he was the only person that beat me in the vertical. So that was very impressive. So he beat me in the vertical, but I was fresh off surgery. It really didn't count. So Caleb was a very competitive dude, though. But that little baseline testing, it showed a lot with the competitors in the group. I think it was basically like me, Caleb, Noah, Udodi, kind of really getting like not tense, but like, I'm about to beat this dude for real. He ain't about to fuck with me right now.
What was the vertical, Caleb?
It was like centimeters. I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't even know. Something in centimeters.
So can you throw down then? Can you dunk?
Oh, I didn't know what you was talking about.
I don't know. I thought that was like, I guess, thing
Of
like
course,
that.
of course. I should be
Okay.
able to, yeah, of course.
Should be able to wait. Should be
Like
able
I
to.
said, like oh, as in like, I mean, I'm a hurdler, so I should be able to dunk. But yeah, I can dunk.
All right. So you're not sending out your like mixtapes like Noah be doing sometimes. Post on the story, just letting people know, hey, reminders. Here's my windmill.
Now I can't windmill or anything, but like a slight two-hand dunk, one-hand dunk, I could do that. That's like easy money.
The fundamentals. Yeah,
Yeah,
Mr.
easy
Fundamentals. Okay. I respect that. I respect that. Cool, man. Yeah. So any goals that you have shout out for your for this season, things that you're kind of hoping to accomplish with the rest of this year, obviously?
Yeah, I'm trying to make the U.S. team. I'm just trying to win everything. Any race that I'm in, just win it. That's my goal. I don't really have a time goal. Um, I feel like if I'm winning, if I'm doing my job, then the time's going to come. So
Sound good. Sound good. No, you got anything else?
Oh, that's it, bro. I appreciate you locking in with us, man, giving us some of your perspective, telling some stories, man, on some good stuff.
no, for sure. Anytime, bro. Anytime.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Caleb. And thank you to everyone for listening to another episode, Track World News Podcast. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. We'll see you all later. Have a good one. Peace.